Hey guys, welcome to What Made Great People Successful. Today we are going to find out what made the great Steve Jobs so successful as the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Apple. An Apple gadget could be the coolest thing that young people could ever lay their hands on. But Apple is not only known for its gadgets, it is also known as one of the most valuable brands in the world, and as the company established by Steve Jobs. So let's take a deeper look at who Steve Jobs really was and how he managed to form a company which produces these cool gadgets. Steve Jobs is a really well-known person. He became famous not just after, but way before his death. That's because he is an excellent innovator. He has a total of 313 patents all under his name. He is also extremely rich. His net worth was $11 billion in 2011 at the time of his death, something which he didn't brag about for his outfits. I personally admire him for this. Now the question that you would most likely be asking right now is, how was he able to accumulate such wealth? Well, one reason is Apple, the number one company based on brand value according to Forbes and Fortune. What most people don't know is that Jobs originally had a bigger share in Apple, which he sold during the time he got separated from the company. Had he not sold all but one of his original shares, it is argued that he would have been the richest person in the world. He would have had $69 and $162 billion worth of stakes in Apple. That is far richer than the top two richest men alive, Bill Gates of Microsoft and Carlos Slim Elu of Grupo Carso. Their net worth at that time was only $74 and $56 billion respectively. Steve Jobs had a rough start. He was born out of wedlock to a Syrian immigrant, Abdul Fattah Jandali, and an American, Joe and Carol Schiebel. He was put up for adoption shortly after he was born. That's right, Steve Jobs was adopted. He was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs. Both of them never went to college. His situation didn't stop Jobs from striving. He possessed perseverance even then. Some people think that it is easier to be successful if you already have a wealthy family that could give you a good start. That could be true, but in the case of Steve Jobs, working his way up from the bottom gave him the experience needed to serve as a strong foundation for his success and greatness. After all, hard work equals success, right? Jobs had a rough childhood not only because he was adopted, but also because he showed signs of uniqueness at a very young age. As a child, he already realized that he was smarter than his parents and most of his peers. One noted event is when he had an argument with his father about how a carbon microphone works. He was always taught by his father that a microphone needs an electronic amplifier to work. One day, as a kid, he proved his father wrong. To tell the truth, I didn't even know what an electronic amplifier was until I made this video. From this incident, we could say that Jobs started learning on his own very early. That's worth noting. Start early. And one big thing, his learning wasn't all from school. He didn't acquire such knowledge about carbon microphones from school. He got it through his own efforts. Indeed, even I would agree that in order to be smarter than everyone else, one must really take the effort to learn. Just take a look at his study room as a grown-up. He never stopped reading and learning. Another thing worth noting, read a lot. So idly waiting to learn things taught by teachers is kind of a thing for mediocre people. It's definitely not a thing for Steve Jobs. Thus, it's quite understandable that Jobs disliked school. He tended to resist authority figures, he often misbehaved, and was suspended a few times. Well, sometimes it's okay to be different. Quoting Steve Jobs, because people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do. However, not liking authorities, schools, and educational systems is one thing. Education and continuous learning is another thing. They shouldn't be confused. Jobs had a passion for learning and education. He even thanked a fourth-grade teacher for mentoring him. His teacher actually bribed him with money to make him study. Because of that teacher, Jobs became more interested in class and performed well. He noted that he learned more during that school year than all the other years he spent in school. This isn't unlikely. All great people maintain mentors in their lives. It's one of their commonalities. So it isn't surprising if Jobs also had a mentor or two at different times of his life. Back to his education, Jobs ended up a college dropout, just like these other guys who turned out to be billionaires. Jobs didn't want to spend his parents' money on his tuition. Rather, he decided to informally attend classes of his choice, one of which was a calligraphy course which later on became very helpful in designing the typography and font of Apple products. So guys, it's okay to be adrift at some point. Later on in life, your experiences will forge you and will make you a very unique person. Then, the value you will deliver to the world will only be exclusive to you. Just like Steve Jobs. His college life wasn't that easy. Jobs slept on the floor in friends' dorm rooms, returned Coke bottles for food money, and got weekly free meals at the local Hare Krishna temple. This is also common with almost all great people, a period in their lives of great adversity. This is where you draw the line between success and failure. If you decide to give up, you fail. If you continue striving, you would most likely be successful. Quoting from a former U.S. First Lady, Rose Kennedy, "Prosperity tries the fortunate, adversity the great." So to be successful, we need to possess resilience. Another important event in Jobs' life was when he and Steve Wozniak met in high school. Both of them were brilliant, and both loved to play pranks. So though Jobs was usually distant from others, he found ways and enjoyed associating with people he thinks he should be with. This is vital, especially for young people. Hanging out with and choosing the right people have great impact on one's future. So we need to really choose the right people. Because of Jobs and Wozniak's similarity, they became good friends. Together, they invented the Blue Box, a device used to hack AT&T phones. So one crucial event in Jobs' life was when he and Wozniak decided to innovate. This led them to think that they had the power to do more. Quoting from him, "Innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower." They later on designed the breakout game under Atari and then started Apple by creating the very first Apple computer. This was followed by the Apple II. They also created the Apple Visa, and the rest was history. However, in 1985, Jobs was pushed out of his own company. This was really big news. During that time, he purchased an animation studio which we now know as Pixar. He again rejoined Apple as CEO in 1997 and he revitalized the failing company. I think rehiring Jobs was a very good step for Apple. While at Apple, Jobs always kept his annual salary at $1. Don't worry, with his Disney and Apple shares of stocks, he wasn't at a losing end. With Jobs as CEO again, all was well for the Apple company. Unfortunately, in 2003, Jobs was found to have pancreatic cancer. He, however, resisted medical intervention for 9 months and resorted to pseudo-medicine diet. He wanted natural healing to thwart his disease. According to experts, this led to an unnecessary early death. He was reportedly buried in the Alta Mesa Memorial Park with an unidentified grave for privacy purposes. And that's it about Steve Jobs. Hope you learned a lot from his life story and that you could use the same success factors on your personal road to success. Thanks for watching.